Hello, and welcome to Games Now, which is part of Looking for a GM. The LFGM group is a website and a growing community, which has the ability for people to look for groups based on game type and availability, and for GMs to offer their wares. I'm part of a pilot program of GMs for the Games Now group within Looking for a GM as we kick this thing forward. And this is the first of one of the pilot program of paid GMing. So this is a pilot. We're giving it a shot. And the first session of my Apocalypse World series that I'll be running. This will be a mini-series running on a mini-series of Apocalypse World games that will be set on a custom setting. Just want to kind of kick it off with a setting that I've used before. I wrote it. It was in an Indie Plus anthology called Junk World, and we're using like that as a starter. There will be a great deal of role building involved in this first session. Be running this on a bi-weekly basis, and the plan is to go for 7 sessions. This first session, I am blessed to have 2 wonderful people who I actually think are great gamers, so I'm very excited about this. We have John and Pam. Thank you both for giving this a shot. Apocalypse World is a game that uses a custom system called the Apocalypse Engine. It is a post-apocalyptic game written by Vincent and McGay Baker. It's a nice hardback. I love this thing. And in it you play characters. Each player plays a single character. It is a GM'd game. It is built on this custom system. It uses a couple of D6s. All roles are player-facing roles. So I'll tell you guys that you are engaging in a move, and you'll roll 2d6 and add an appropriate stat, and then you're looking for a 10 plus to get a full success. On a 7 to 9, you have what's called a mixed success, where you get some of what you wanted, but not all of it. And a bit of that is up to the prescription of the moves, and then my own interpretation as the MC. That's the name for the GM in an Apocalypse World game. And really, we have some basic moves. And instead of classes like you might see in a Dungeons and Dragons type game, we have what are called playbooks. Very similar. There's not a whole lot that is super new at first blush in Apocalypse World if you're used to more conventional RPGs that you might find at a gaming store or a comic book store. Or if you watch Critical Role, we'll do stuff that's similar to that, except with guns. And that's kind of the short version. Now, as a GM or an MC in Apocalypse World, I ask a lot of questions. And that's part of the agendas and principles for running this game. So it's a very interactive process. I hope to pull from you guys things that interest you, aspects of your character that you find interesting or want to explore. We'll create parts of the world together, and then I'll use that to build all of the kind of palette that we play within. So a bit of information about Junk World. So Junk World is a setting that I originally created in a play-by-post game and ran for quite a while. And I love the inspiration of it much more than the fiction that I had created before. So there's a very minimal amount of canon that we need to worry about. The idea behind Junk World, inspired by the movie Soldier with Kurt Russell. If you don't know that movie, that's okay. Not many people do. But the idea behind it is that there is a planet, this is set in the far future, and there is a planet where Earth sends their trash. And so there are these automated scows or giant trash freighters that just hit on the line, and they head out, hit faster than light travel, and come to this planet known as Junk World. Probably has like a letter and a few number designation, dumps off all the trash, and then circles back around the sun and heads back. And it's completely automated, no communication, has ever been successful with trying to take over a trash scow or control a freighter, at least none that you've heard of. Along with that, there was a colony ship. This was 50, 60 years ago. And this colony ship took off, and it had a great deal of trouble and went adrift and was looking for a signal to be able to navigate its way through the stars, and hooked upon this automated signal for the trash scows. And the colony ship limped along until it came here to Junk World and crash landed. That happened several generations ago. Now we have this post-apocalyptic, somewhat sci-fi future with people who have survived from that original colony ship. And they've probably had a bit of a diaspora, broken up. There are probably things here on the planet that existed before your arrival. But we'll find all of that out in play. So as we kick this off, Pam, John, did either of you have any questions about what I've gone over from the setting, or does that seem clear enough to jumpstart us with some ideas?
It's clear enough to me. I'm one of the few people that have watched Soldier.
Yay!
I have not.
Oh,
but I know.
It's not great. But I like it anyway. Like, I love the kernel of the idea more than anything. Oh, for anyone watching, Pam and John are actually in the same room. So Pam's muted. So you'll hear Pam through John's audio. So you'll see his head pop up, but someone's talking and he's not moving his mouth. He's not a ventriloquist. It's Pam.
Although I am a dummy, so.
What? Matt is not setting that up. This is Pam. So now she's on screen. There we go. It just proved that you are alive. Okay, so did either of you playbooks as like classes? I've given a link. It's up on apocalypse-world.com, the playbooks and the basic moves, which is really, as a player, that's really all you need to play this game. And of course, a fertile imagination and the desire to jump forth and help create a story. Those are the things you need to play Apocalypse World. Eating a steady diet of trashy media is just, that's just a thing that isn't terribly bad to also have at your fingertips. So from the playbooks for Apocalypse World, were there any playbooks that interested the two of you or ideas that you had?
As usual, darn you, Vince. All of them interest me.
Right.
So, I know, it's just terrible. So for some reason, and I think you played this before, John, but I don't remember. I was leaning toward the driver.
The driver. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Cool. Let me go ahead. I'm going to pull up the driver playbook.
Because I believe I've played a hard holder before.
You have a hard holder. I bet you're a great hard holder.
She was.
Cool. Awesome. So the driver is a pretty awesome playbook. In first edition Apocalypse World, the driver was a little tough to bring to the table just because they were such loners, right? But in second edition, the operator, which was a playbook in first edition, was kind of collapsed down, and aspects of the operator that made it cool were blended into the driver. So I find it a very compelling playbook in second edition, whereas first edition, it was a weird thing to work and play. It was almost like you're playing a solo game, and occasionally you just kind of show up and cameo, and other people like, I'm guest starring the driver. But now the driver can be a pretty functional and like fully integrated member of a group. And with two players, it's perfect because you can have a passenger. John, did you have any playbooks you were interested in?
I've actually was looking at extended playbooks, but I will.
I'm not opposed to that. Which of the extended playbooks interested you?
Well, I was actually interested in the Water Bearer.
Okay, that's an interesting one. The Water Bearer.
However, with Pam playing a driver.
No, I'm not married to that. I'm still looking, so we're good. Carry on.
Because I've never seen Apocalypse World. Oh, you had one where you guys were pretty mobile that time, where the game that you did with the water scenario.
Yes, that was a very mobile one. Yeah, we had a driver in that one actually, and it ended up worked really well.
Because it seems like hard holder is almost always an automatic. But can we? I'm cool with doing a water bearer, but if the standard playbooks are easier, I could do hard holder. It's very similar.
Let's give water bearer a shot. That's the one that interested you. I'd like to explore it. I think it's a neat character type. And like I found that the hard holder and the water bearer together in the same game can definitely come to a head. But the two of you guys, water bearer and driver, sounds cool. Or water bearer and another character if you want to switch up, Pam. Let's start filling out the water bearer. And if you like the character that you make, then that's what we'll stick with.
Yeah, and that'll be good because I don't know anything about, or I know very little about what this particular playbook is about. So I look forward to hearing about it.
Cool. Let me update the validations on the character keeper. I'm using a Google spreadsheet because I'm weird like that. I should be using something cool like Roll20. All right, I can fix this real quick though. What is it? Oh, sorry.
Spreadsheets are nice and easy to control.
Well, I work in spreadsheets all day at work, and so I just like them. I'm weird. Isn't that weird? I like them.
I work for a bank, so clearly you're speaking my language.
All right, let's see here. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do.
Oh, it's in the extended one. Yeah, I have a copy of this.
There we go. All right. All right. Water bearer is now added. The only thing it does is automatically autofill your sex move, which is helpful. What is it about, Pam? What's about the driver that appealed to you? What seemed interesting about that playbook?
Other than the fact that people I really like have played drivers in games that I've played, I was just picturing the kind of ultra cool sort of vehicle that you would have on a world that was like this.
Nice. When you think of an ultra cool vehicle, now of course part of the driver is building one. I gesture over here because my second monitor is to the right in case you see me. I'm not gesturing to a person, just to another monitor. When you think about the driver and the ultra cool and this like junk world, I'm imagining that there are, particularly in the area where the trash scouts like drop everything, that there are mounds and mounds, like a giant junkyard, right? And
yeah.
Old refrigerators and all kinds of stuff. But we're in the future, so one of the gangs that has existed in several versions of Junk World has been a group that rode on hover bikes, right? So we can go slightly higher tech than that, or we can go more road warrior style where you've gotten kind of bolted on stuff. What were you thinking about for your cool car?
That's good. I was thinking of the former, actually. Kind of like a smaller version of the Nebuchadnezzar from the Matrix trilogy.
Ooh, dope. That's really cool.
So you've got hover engines kind of surrounding it. So that helps it maneuver, not, I mean, it has to repulse against land, so it can't fly too high. and it can't go loopy-loopy and stuff. But I was thinking like a hover car that was kind of like that.
Nice. I like it. I like that a lot. So less like we're not talking about a DeLorean from Back to the Future. We're not talking about Blade Runner. We're talking about does it have, because one of the things with the Nebuchadnezzar that I remember, and that was because it had to go through a bunch of tunnels, which we don't necessarily have on Junk World. It had those kind of hover pads all around it.
Right.
I think it's more like underneath and to the side kind of thing.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Cool. Sweet. So let's take a look. You can use the cars part of driver, and we should probably make sure there's a space for that. It's under kind of the gears and custom shit section there on row 41 is where you probably put personal gear, but we should probably have a frame. We'll have the vehicle here.
Cool. So I'm just looking at the spreadsheet and going, oh man, it's a game with Rich again. I remember all this stuff.
Cool. So I've got a few things started here so that you can easily just fill in those bits. But for a vehicle, for a driver, you choose a frame. It sounds like you want something similar to, it could be a buggy. You're saying smaller than Nebuchadnezzar, so it could be something on the size of like a pickup or van or a limo, or if you want to go something more like a semi, size of a semi or a bus, then that just changes one of the stats called massive, and also we both have 2 battle options, so there's no change there.
Okay.
So are you seeing something that's the size of a bus or a semi, like an 18-wheeler, or is this something on the size of like the 18's van?
She could even go with her special move, couldn't she? And or choose one of her moves, and my other car is a tank.
She sure could, if that's what she wanted to do.
Yeah, because the more I'm thinking about it, the more it feels like. So I mean, again, I don't want it to be a replica of the Nebuchadnezzar, but having something that was that big, that you could, a couple of people could live on, and people could do some stuff on and whatnot. It's like that'd be pretty cool. So I don't know if I'd say it was as big as a semi. Maybe a bus sized, I think.
Okay. Yeah, like a tour bus kind of size. Yeah. All right, good. Kind of
thing. Yeah. Yeah, not like a school bus, like a Greyhound kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay, so then we'll call that, it's like the size of a Greyhound kind of deal. And that gives you a massive of 3, which is useful in solving things with your awesome car. And you have 2 battle options. Strengths, you can choose 1 or 2 of those from the list. Looks, you choose 1 or 2. Weaknesses, 1 or 2. Why take 2? If they sound cool, right? And then the battle options are based on your frame, which you have there. And you can double up on the battle options. Okay. Let's jump over and take a look at Water Bearer. You've got a number of things to define here with the source. So you have a source of abundant pure water, and your water has a special quality. You see those? Do you need me to?
No, I've got it right in front of me.
Cool. And then it will have some features, and then you get to define 3 people who've come to the source over time and have become your chosen friends.
Yeah. I'm not sure. My own brain is like, I don't know if I'm gonna mix with the driver particularly well. So I'm kind of hesitating to pull the trigger on it, but
Okay. Well, I think that the three of us, two of us. Why am I saying two of us? The three of us can come up with reasons why the driver would be fully integrated with your water source.
Sure, let's go for it. What's life without risks, right?
I hear you.
Yeah. So my spreadsheet got a place to fill all this in.
Yep. Start on row 47.
Ah, there it is. Okay, I want to go with its special quality being, what is it? A prosperous marketplace, largely self-governing, has grown up around it.
Nice. I like this already.
That is its special quality. Let's see, it is going to have lush vegetation. It's going to be in a grotto or cave.
Fun.
And there will be, it seems like doubling up. We'll put it in there. And no, I can't. There's so many to choose from.
I know, it's so good. If only there were less options.
Ah, well, there's three to. I can have more than three. So let's see.
That's
here.
right.
I'm gonna do. There's gonna be fish as well. Birds and bird song. I think that pretty much covers it. So yeah, I'm gonna have it. It's like under the junk, and like, you know, the sunken cave, and there's hot springs. That'll be my fifth one. Some kind of setup, not by me, but in the generations past. So it's got lighting in there to provide all this vegetation. So you got the steaming water, and it's going to be like this underground, jungly oasis kind of place.
I like that a lot. So if we have an underground jungle oasis, then that means that Junk World itself is probably a pretty hot surface. Imagine it's very arid because we need this to be valuable and interesting, right?
Right. So,
sought after.
Imagining, like the big junkyard up above, and then, through various entrances you come down, like step into the bus, and then there's like got a hole cut in the floor of a junked out bus, and there's stairs going down into the earth. And you go down through some cracks and crevices, and boom, you open up into this jungle cavern.
Are you imagining that the way down is headed down like like you're going down a cave? Are there actual stairs or steps that have been carved into the rock? Is it
I
a
think
natural?
it's like a fissure. Like it's mostly natural fissure, but in the process of getting to the water, like there are steps, but then there like will be a section where somebody's taken a ladder off the back of a old bus, and that'll be the steps. And so it's a mixture of carved into the stone, junk put in place to bridge gaps to get down.
This sounds cool. I like that. Okay. Well, this is exciting. I'm really glad you went with the water bear. I think it's a neat playbook, and I have only had limited exposure to it, so this is fun for me. I get to learn some new stuff. Okay, there are other things for you to define. There are 3 people who have come to the source over time and become your chosen friends. You'll define them with a name and a role. There are some suggestions for names. However, if you would like, I'd like to share a doc with you that you can also use for names.
I know you have a great name document.
Oh, I do. I love this name document.
He loves name documents.
Oh, this is like one of my first and favorite name documents. Junk World, I actually did hours of research going through every brand name of things and items and candies and colas and like across the world. And you'll recognize quite a few of these, but it's a pretty fun names list. And among that, there are 3 gangs. I will definitely be using a couple of them. But those names.
I saw one that I definitely want one of my NPCs to be.
Nice.
That's going to be Blackjack.
Blackjack. It's a cool name.
A great name.
I especially love playing Junk Roll with people who are from countries that have these particular items, and they'll be like, oh, and I have no idea which one of those things they know as a brand name. Because I literally went for hours and hours of Google and Pinterest searching for different brand types. Some of them are really, really familiar to Americans, like Marlboro, but not all of them.
And Blackjack will be a guardian.
Cool. It's Blackjack, male, female, androgynous, hidden.
I'm going to go with female.
Okay.
A wiry black woman.
Nice. How is the not Nebuchadnezzar coming along?
Good. I need to come up with a name for it.
How about the Gobstopper?
You laugh, but when I was looking through Rich's document, no, that's the one name that jumped out to me. Was Gobstopper.
Gobstopper's a good name.
Gobstopper's a great name. So I think that's what my vehicle will be called.
Oh, that's a great name for a vehicle. I dig it. Sweet. All right. Curly Whirly, your healer. I like it. Do you see Curly Whirly as a person who actually knows how to heal people, or is it more of a religion than a science for them to heal?
I'm thinking that they actually are going to fairly know what they're doing.
Cool.
But maybe they're not like really like a doctor. It's like self-taught, and there's going to be some spiritualism.
Nice. I like that.
And maybe the ingestion of unnecessary pharmaceuticals.
If it helps you get better, how could it be unnecessary, right?
Yeah, there you go. See.
Nice.
These names are amazing.
Right? I'm so glad you like them. I think I've got a pretty cool picture we can use for Blackjack based off your brief description. I'm going to stick her in NPCs and places right now.
Oh, I like it. That's what I'm going to do. I think.
Oh. And then my last NPC, I think, will be so tough, but I'm gonna go with Butternut.
Oh, Butternut. Oh, yay. What a cool name. Oh, Curly Whirly. Do you have a look or a thought in mind for what Curly Whirly, how they present or appear?
I'm thinking Curly Whirly is ambiguously gendered as much as really is possible, because there's going to be a lot of like swimsuit attire inside the cave, so maybe they're just like they sweat, they cover themselves up more than people. So
Okay.
yeah, we'll go with that. They're like got the loose Hawaiian kind of shirt kind of thing, maybe self-painted, and their hair will that's part of the Curly Whirly, that huge mass of reddish afro that's probably purposely styled to be wild, like that's part of the demeanor of the person, so that they set themselves up as being othered.
I like it.
Maybe even occasionally doing the whole Blackbeard thing of, tying stuff into the, wrapping your beard into or hair into like burning stuff. You have and
Cool.
stuff in your hair burning.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, Blackbeard used to do that. The cannon fuses, then they put them in this beard, supposedly.
Pretty awesome.
I'm going to go back and finish up my number now that I've finished reading 16 times that document.
I think it's. I'm going to go with. That seems like it might be more fun. Butternut will be a brewer, actually, I think.
Oh, cool.
Wait, doesn't one of your out characters have a pet named Butternut or something?
I have never heard that name. I do use Butter as a stock MMORPG name.
Huh.
I like names that are in MMORPGs that are easy to spell and easy for people to remember.
I found that my favorite, Orc Lord, that people occasionally call me Oak Lord, like I like trees or something. That amuses me.
That's funny.
Okay, now my laws.
Yeah, those are interesting. I'm going to circle back and talk to you, Pam. How is the driver coming along?
It's fine. I was just reading through my moves. I
Some
think
people
combat driver is a natural.
Yeah, sounds good.
They said in a second. I think the other one. Oh, we said my other car is a tank.
Oh, you are going to go with the two?
That's a move, so you don't have to take that.
Not sure I follow. I thought that's one of the moves I needed to take.
You do not need to take it. You automatically start with your vehicle. My other car is a tank means that we would work on, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm A-okay with, you don't need to take that move to have this cool
Okay.
Greyhound bus size.
I needed to know. Eye on the Door or Daredevil?
They're both so good.
Yeah. I'm thinking Daredevil. Okay. Have you named your character yet, John?
No, darling. I have not.
Well, you are welcome to use whatever name you want, or if you want to look at the names from the Junk World list, you're welcome to it. Whatever. And of course, there are suggested ones for each of the. Are there? Yeah.
So many options.
I know, maybe I blinded with too much choice.
No, I was actually thinking I might name her Hound. Because she's driving whatever it was, like a 26th or 27th century Greyhound bus. And Hound was what was left on the.
Oh, cool. I like that.
Yeah, it was like Y Hound or something like that. That was on that was the part of the logo that was left. It was either that or Daimler, which is another bus brand. But I'm like, not as easy and much fun to pronounce. So I'm going to go with Hound. Which is not the usual kind of name style for me. So.
I'm just kind of glancing around right now for post-apocalyptic looking buses. There are some pretty nasty ones. They all look gnarly.
Are they like from the the annual Mad Max convention thing.
Oh yeah, that Wasteland Warrior thing. I think a few of them are. Wow. Yeah, there's some awesome ones here. School buses, most of them, of course. Don't hate this one.
You share it?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to. There you go.
That just made me think that what I should name my character instead is Airstream.
Airstream's kind of cool too.
Airstream is kind of cool too, because that looks like to me like a modified Winnebago or something. Oh, it's too late. We're going with Airstream. That's just all there is to it.
I'm pretty sure the symbol in the bottom right-hand corner for that picture is the Wasteland Warriors symbol.
What, you're not, did your hover thing just turn into a bus?
But I mean, we went with bus size, but I think it's got some hover capabilities.
Okay. That could be like the Blade Runner things, those wheels flip out.
Can't do it. Can't do it. I like Hound too much. No big surprise.
Stick with Hound. It's cool.
Yeah, stick with Hound. I like it. So I think it's in part because of what we've been watching on Amazon lately, John.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll have to find a picture of what I'm picturing this driver to look like. She is not going to be Furiosa, which it was hard not to. I will tell you.
Right? Like that's the most iconic, amazing. She's so cool. I just recently watched where somebody was breaking down some of the like storytelling techniques of aspects of Fury Road that I didn't catch in the movie. I'm like, wow, I didn't even see that, but wow, that's so cool.
It's such a ridiculously good movie.
It's way better than it had any right to be. All right, cool. So we've got a name for Hound. Oh, also, if you guys check out, there's a new little thing on row 2. If you input the URL to the right of the thing where it says PC image URL, the pic will pop up in the row above it, right to the right of your name. And that way it'll, yeah, it's something I stole from someone else's character keeper that I really like. Though you don't have to do the insert image and then drop it in. You just drop the URL there and it'll always be there. You never have to worry about resizing the image and all that stuff.
Which always causes problems.
Oh, it invariably does. I am circling back on you, John. See, we've got laws. Offer sacrifices of blood, labor, or precious things. Surrender your firearms. Everyone drinks, everyone eats, no one goes without. Ooh, interesting. Do no violence and no intentional harm. Your penalties are exile, punitive of violence. Oh, okay. Wait, I'm confused. You have like, it's like you're building a list and adding more onto it, or?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on each of them. So I was like, surrendering your firearms. Normally, that's like the price of entering. It's like, you know, it's like I don't know if exile is exactly what. You just can't come in. if you don't surrender your guns at the door.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. So you're saying if you don't offer a sacrifice, you get exiled. If you don't surrender firearms, you could get exile or punitive violence. Okay.
Yeah, like if somebody
I was confused.
Like, how'd you get a gun in here? Okay, well then there's violence going to be done to you for bringing a gun in.
All right.
Normally, just like you can't come in.
It makes total sense. I should have followed it better.
And also with the offering sacrifices of blood, labor. Normally it's you either labor or precious things. And if somebody doesn't have that, then it's like, I think for everybody is their task to defend the source if the source is actually attacked from the outside.
Nice.
So then they would be, and if you don't, at that point, there could be trouble. I don't know what penalty. I don't know who would get penalized if everyone drinks, everyone eat. I mean, it's a law, but I don't know how there would be punishment for it not happening.
And perhaps we'll have to explore that and play. You'll have to figure it out.
I mean, if somebody was withholding food, then yeah, there would be like humiliation. I guess that would be the case. So the people who didn't feed somebody, that would be a problem. What are my choices again? Like public humiliation.
All right. Looks like you guys all have moves chosen. Don't forget you need to choose your stat line, which is your cool, hard, hot, sharp, and weird stats.
Yep. Just looking that up.
Okay.
Yeah, for the driver, it's basically a question of, do you want a +2 cool or do you want a +2 cool? Or perhaps...
I think if it's okay if I take a +2 cool.
Sure.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, and I get a +2 hard or a +2 hard.
Hey, it's better than they used to be. They used to be bad at everything unless they were in a car.
God,
It's like, would you like to talk to me? Yeah, come and sit in my car.
Yeah.
Oh, I was lying. It's the 2 is to the left of hard. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it appears to have a minus. Oh, my goodness. He could take a -2 hard. You would be +2 sharp, though. Got it all figured out. Drive away.
Oh man, this is hard. No pun intended.
Stat lines are fun.
Says you don't have to pick one.
I know. That's what's fun. I delight in your travails.
Okay, I'm going to be Rolo.
Nice.
Well, we'll see what this looks like. -1 to hard and a +1 to sharp.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll see.
Look, you're not terrible at anything. Just problems happen when violence breaks out and hounds around.
Yeah.
Okay. 2. Ooh, that's a -1? Ouchies. No, that's the one I want right there. sure those in the right order. Cool, hard, hot, sharp, weird. So yeah.
Everybody okay there?
Good. Are you good?
Yeah. I just heard a bangity bang bang.
Typing. Sorry. Dang it. All right. How are things coming along? Any help with anything?
I'm doing good. You doing good, Dad? I'm just putting in the. I think I've got all the choices. It's just the look stuff to do now. Oh, and gear, I suppose.
Ha 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 ha. I just did a thing. There's a cool new picture on our roll for your party page. Hee hee.
Exactly. Oh, sweet home.
Nice big junkyard.
So you want us to paste the picture URL right in?
Yeah.
Oh, next to it, not right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
Nice pick. Very cool. All right, we've got stats lined up.
I need to get my gear down.
Got your moves. Gotta grab your gear. Cool. I am gonna step away for just a moment and go downstairs and grab myself a drink because I've drunk everything that's in here. Be back in just a few minutes.
The weapon one is always the one that's hard to figure out. Hunting rifle. Yeah, son.
What?
Messy.
Well, I imagine he actually doesn't walk around with it, so
I'm stuck between.
I wanted to take a knife, but
Yeah, I'm thinking machete or sawed off. Kind of like the idea of a sawed off.
Hello, I have returned. All right. Working on gear, you're just about done. I may have conflated a couple of things that John described. I'm now beginning to wonder if Curly Whirly is the person that wears the Hawaiian shirts and ambiguous gender, or if it was Butternut. I'll ask her this back.
It's a very vintage look going for her.
I'm sorry, say again?
She has a very vintage look going for her.
Indeed.
Sneaker boots.
Sneaker boots are the best.
Sneaker boots are the best.
Sneaker boots are wrong. I don't want to be right.
What am I missing here, Rich?
I am looking right now. You have your gear. We got a little bit of HX workout when John gets back, and then highlights, and we start, really, as far as the Hound is concerned. Now, do you have a bigger sister named the Mountain? Nope. Hey, okay with me.
I'm smiling though. Can you hear the rattle rattle in the background there?
I imagine it's dog tag.
Dog tag.
Yep.
We got a dog a couple weeks ago.
That is awesome. I was like, yeah, that sounds like a dog tag. They have a dog? Wait, I thought they were cat people. Got a dog?
Cat right here. But yeah, we just got a dog a couple weeks ago.
What breed?
It is an American Pit Bull Terrier, or they say she's a Staffordshire, but she seems too small.
There's no way she's a Staffy.
Why did you decide to get a dog?
It's more that the dog decided.
Oh, really? Just find it? Is it a stray?
No, we were at a volunteer event for my work that was basically like Disneyland for me, because it was. Are you picking Idris Elba?
I am picking Idris Elba.
Holy crap!
All right, hold on. What's your hot? That's a 0. I'm sorry, I have to disallow that.
There was no way Idris Elba has anything less than a 15. Huh?
Hey, hot is not a physical stat.
Fair enough. That's awesome.
But anyways, So it was just like a big thing for pets, and there were all these dogs there and a bunch of adoption agencies, and we saw her, and I saw her first actually and just fell in love with her. She's super sweet.
Is she young or an older dog or what?
2 or 3, they said.
Good.
She was dumped when she was really pregnant. I think they got her in December, and she had her puppies in January. So
Okay.
yes.
Now, why did
Unfortunately, puppies were not in sight. Otherwise, we would have more than just one dog.
The picture didn't show up full time.
Yeah, I it's like, why did that picture show up? I mean,
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me just. I'll fix it. I think it's because you did the whole website rather than the actual image. I can do that.
okay.
Excuse me.
Did a long week.
It's always a long week. Yes, I did. Woo.
I think
There we go.
okay, yeah.
Hubbada.
I know. Hot Idris Elba pics.
He is just a pretty man.
He is such a handsome man. I completely agree. All right, we have stats. We have moves. We have gear. We have the source and gobstocker detailed. We have an idea of the source. So then we just have 2 more things to do. And the first one is HX. So HX is you introduce your character by name, look, and outlook. And each of you have choices you can make. Would you like to start off? Rolo. I'm now transitioning. John, you are Rolo. Pam, you are Hound. Rolo, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Well, going through the looks, he is a man. He's generally half-dressed. He has a beautiful face.
Yes, he does.
We'll say soft eyes and a graceful body. He wears clothes out on the when he's basically he's inside of the source in the green part. You know, like many people, he doesn't wear a lot of clothes in there. But outside, he'll be wearing, you know, like survival stuff. Just whatever. He took over the position of water bearer several years ago, I'm going to guess. And what else am I? Okay, so then go name, look, and outlook. What's outlook? Just what they're on. I'm not sure on that one, Rich.
Oh, sure. Outlook is a bit about his personality. Like, does he buy into the hype? Does he enjoy his position? What's his outlook on being the water bearer and his duty to people come there?
He takes it very seriously. So he's very much a take care of the people in the source kind of person.
Nice. What about people who aren't in the source? People who have been exiled or are no longer allowed?
If somebody actually has been, he's willing to take them back as long as they mend their ways. Because, you know, the source is a place of forgiveness and peace.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of the hippie thing. I know one of my improvements is probably to pick more features. Probably, so I want a rumor at least that there is healing properties to the water, because I probably will buy that down the road.
Nice.
So, yeah, I mean, he's not much of hating people unless they're just can't live peacefully and leave his people alone. So
Nice. Seems like a pretty decent fellow.
In general, that would be the case.
All right. That sounds really cool. Thank you very much.
That's how he got. That's how he ended up in the position, I'm assuming.
So this wasn't like a divine right thing. He earned the position.
Oh, I think it. I mean, I think there might be something of the clergy, but it's more like the important people who take care of the source.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, kind of I think at least in his transition, it was like probably he always knew he was going to be the next water bearer.
That's a mighty pretty dog in your background. Sorry, I just wanted to call that out.
She is very pretty and very sweet. So yeah, he is probably raised to be in the position. It might not have always been as seamless in the past.
Gotcha. Cool. I like Rolo. Please, Hound, tell us a bit about yourself.
I am female, and I basically cobbled together. I get the idea that I'm or kind of taught myself and took care of myself growing up, and I got the idea that I cobbled together pretty much everything like a scrounger that I wear or that I use. So I found these like vintage clothes, and I like wearing those. And I model myself after a couple of old magazine ads and posters that were up in the vehicle that the guts of the vehicle that I am using. The Nebuchadnezzar. No, sorry. Sorry, Wachowskis, don't Wachowskis don't think that I'm harping on your copyright there. But anyways, so when I got the gobstopper together, it had some posters and videos, because I'm assuming that there are like chiseled out sort of like the picture frames that we have where the information cycles through. So I'm picturing that I found one of those that was sort of busted, and it had some vintagey looking stuff, because kind of the way that Roman stuff and Greek stuff comes back in vogue every once in a while now in the 20 whatever century, when this particular pile of junk was dumped. Retro stuff for us, like the 50s and 60s and 40s. We would just say the 20th century, I'm sure, was very much in vogue. So I've sort of taken my style off of that. What else? What else do we need to know? The gobstopper is built on the guts of a Greyhound bus from whatever era that I got it from Earth. It is enclosed, but the engines, which are these hover engines, are fixed only on the underside, and that's mostly for propulsion. And then the ones on the edges of the undercarriage and slightly on the sides are for balance and mobility and maneuverability. Excuse me.
Nice. I like it. I see.
Yeah.
Oops.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say I basically have been. It's a work in progress, and I am cleaning it out and fitting in bits and pieces as I find them, like a cot that I welded down to the floor. I've made a makeshift shower on one side with a kind of drain thing in the back and whatnot. So it's my home, not just my vehicle.
Nice. Nice. I am really interested in exploring why this source seems very much like a verdant underground paradise, but you enjoy driving above ground. That's an interesting choice. Okay, so let's stick with you, Hound. You've got some HX. You've introduced your character. So you take your turn here, and you've got, you can ask 1, 2, or all 3 of these characters that apply. You guys work it out which one you like of those. You see it under the HX pan?
Yeah, I'm reading.
Okay, cool.
You could read it out loud if you wanted to.
Here's some. Which one of you got me out of some serious shit? Which one of you, John?
Well, you have several, is what he's saying. So you go through them, and I think we're going to probably pick one of our things.
Which one of you has been with me for days on the road? And which one of you have I caught sometimes staring out at the horizon?
Which one feels like it applies the best to Rolo, as you know him?
Oh, geez. I would say the second or third, but I'll bet anything. I have caught him sometimes staring out at the horizon.
Nice. You good with that, Rolo?
Sure.
All right, there you go. So for Rolo, you'll just write down Rolo, and you've got an HX of +3, Hound. So Rolo, you have some HX of your own.
Which one of you once gave me water in the wilderness, real or metaphoric? Which one of you, like me, served the source? Or, for everyone else, write hex +1. You saw them coming. I'm going to go with gave me water in the wilderness, real or metaphoric.
That's interesting. Makes sense, though. How did you get out there?
Do you want to make that up, or do I make that up?
You guys can make it up together. Like, so is this a thing where you were on a long journey? Was it something where you were caught out unaware? Going out to help someone? Why would you be out?
Yeah, why were you out?
I was out
maybe when we met.
Younger. Let's say maybe when I was first water bearer, or when I was the disciple of the water bearer. Went out for medical supplies that we didn't have in Oasis, which is what I want to call the source. And had to go to, like, blah will have someplace of your choosing. Have more story to it. Maybe it was to try and save the last water bearer.
Ooh,
I like that.
interesting. Interesting. Cool. I like it. That sounds good. So in this, do you think the Hound actually took you to where you needed to go? along with giving you water, Hound, or did you have some other shit
Well,
going on?
I'm looking at the move and the way I'm reading it, or the hex. I'm gonna say we went with somebody else. So like some trader caravan out of our little marketplace outside of the oasis, and those people ended up failing or whatever. So they either did us dirty or didn't make it, lost, got destroyed by raiders, something along those lines. And then Hound was the knight in shining armor who swooped in and saved the day.
You like that, Hound?
It's cool. I'm down with that.
I'm going to jump forward and suggest that the Raiders were a band of roving maniacs that call themselves the Windies. The Windies are inspired by fast food, and that is it's a little trash culture. I don't see it as gonzo as much as horrifying, because their leader's name is Ronnie, and he dresses in a red wig, and putting on the makeup is a sacred act for them. It's like they're putting on war paint.
I love it.
So yeah, they are cannibals, but they do fry people. So there's that.
Delicious.
Yeah. So yeah, some of the Windies are names of some of the Windies that you may have heard: Parfait, Baconator, McMuffin, Ronnie, of course, Pounder, Big Mac, and yeah, if you've ever, I don't know if you've ever Google searched Ronald McDonald or like Spooky Clowns, but oh my God, there's so many.
Yes, there are some great ones actually.
There's some, yeah.
Not something I would Google.
Yeah, she has actual fear of them.
Oh, that's a great point. So as we play this game, your safety is important, right? Anything that's going to cause you to disengage from the game and no longer have fun, please let me know. We can do that with an X card, right? You could just hold up X, or you could type that in the side chat on the video window. I'm not going to challenge what makes you uncomfortable. I may ask what it is, just so I know, and we can work around it.
So basically do the Wakanda Forever thing.
Yes. That now that is stuck in my mind. Whenever I talk about X carding, I may have to.
Yes.
Wakanda Forever, unless you know.
Yeah.
I almost spoiled, so I'll be quiet. Oh, Infinity War. Awesome. We've got our HX worked out. Now we do highlighting of stats. Highlighting of stats. So you look on your sheet and see you have the highest HX with. You ask them to highlight one stat on your sheet. Rolo, who do you have the highest HX with?
I think that is with Butternut. No, Hound.
Could be Hound.
So Hound, I think you get to highlight something on my sheet.
So you just look at the stat.
Oh,
Cool, hard, hot, sharp, and weird. Any of those that you think would be interesting in play for Rolo to try to roll, then you can just tell him highlight that stat, and then every time he rolls that, he'll get an XP.
weird.
Pass or fail.
Weird.
Weird.
Wow,
Okay.
thanks.
Wow. When you do weird stuff, trouble happens. I think I would like for you to also highlight. I'm going to be mean. I'm going to say you need to highlight your hard. There could be trouble. Hound, who has the highest HX on your sheet?
Also butternut.
That butternut.
Um,
Just so clever.
so Rolo.
Well, in regards of picking the least stat, I think I should retaliate with hard for you, but
Okay.
no. I actually am going to be slightly nicer. You know what? Let's try to get some weird into this game. So
I like it.
Cool. I'll ask you to highlight your sharp.
Sharp. I like it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Cool. So then we've got all the stat stuff and everything kind of ready to start off. I wanted to read this. There's a cool little dealie in the first session. So what we're going to do now is our first session. I'm going to follow you guys around, ask a lot of questions, throw forward some ideas or suggestions, and get to know what is your day-to-day life is like here on Jungle World. And we're going to play until we find a good place to stop tonight. And then we'll pick back up in a couple weeks. And we may introduce some new characters. Let's start off with... let's start off in the source. So Oasis, as you call it. Oasis has a burgeoning market that's grown up, right?
that's right.
Sure. Oh, there's one question before we get too deep in. I may have conflated a couple things. So Curly Whirly, is Curly Whirly the person with ambiguous gender and wild red hair, or was that Butternut?
Curly Whirly, ambiguous gender.
Okay, cool. For some reason,
Wild hair.
as I was looking over my notes, I was like, I think you said that for Curly Whirly, but I'd written it in the wrong area. So how does Butternut appear?
I'm going to say that Butternut is a thick, muscular, short, squat, like a bulldog of a man. The no neck muscle, but with a generous layer of padding.
He has enjoyed his time in the source, huh?
Yeah, yeah. He is a successful merchant with, who samples his wares. So, in addition to being a brewer, maybe he's also an expert cook.
I like it. I like Butternut. That is great.
Like the beer and barbecue guy.
Barbecue. Don't ask. Don't ask for beer. Good. So let's start off in Oasis. So you wake up in the area that you sleep. Do you have, is everything natural here? Are there constructed rooms where you reside and sleep?
No, I think it is completely a natural space, but so then when you get in, the living and man areas are going to be you couldn't get whole vehicles down to this level, so but it'd be like poles and tarps and the doors from cars, the doors from refrigerators, sheet metals and stuff. And so those are like cliff dwellings, kind of so around the perimeter on where there might be a natural ledge, there would be, these platforms, almost, it's like a scaffolding kind of thing, with very few solid walls, because most of it's going to be cloths and fabrics, and moving through it would be, like almost like stepping through people's living rooms at times as you're like going through these like gangplank kind of walkway around the edge. And the pool would be like in the middle, like the beautiful oasis is in the middle, and it's all built around it with some water coming down and greenery.
That's cool. I have a lot of strong imagery there. I actually I am reminded of there's an underground in the movie The Blood of Heroes, which is another post-apocalyptic movie that I adore, with Rutger Hauer and Joan Chen and Vincent D'Onofrio. And there's a cool bit of there's like a hotel, but it's just like a ladder and a bunch of scaffolding in this one underground area.
Yeah.
That's cool. I totally dig that. Now, you have Blackjack, Curly Whirly, and Butternut, but we know that this is a prosperous marketplace, that you have lush vegetation, fish, birds, hot springs. This is like a paradise. It is legitimately an oasis. So there are probably a lot of people who want to be here, who will come down, especially with this custom of everyone drinks, everyone eats, no one goes without.
But you have to buy entry with blood, valuables, or labor.
Ah, there we go. You have anticipated.
There is a. I mean, it probably would even have a name. I'm thinking that the prosperous market would probably more be the outside, like actually not in the source / oasis, but up on the surface, like, so call that top side, maybe.
Ah, cool. Okay, so the prosperous market is on top side.
And so that's people they don't have to make the bargain to come down, so like merchants might be up there, because if you come down, we're going to take money. You're going to work for us, or you're going to pay in blood, which that's basically saying, you would, bleed for us. That's what that generally, I'm not like saying, hey, cut your wrist and bleed into a cup or anything. It's down the road, you are definitely going to, if shit hits the fan, you're willing to die for us, basically. So it's serious. There might even be a brand or something for people like that.
Ooh, a brand. Okay, a brand for the blood. Okay.
So to keep people from just like saying, sure, I'd fight for you, whatever. It's like, yeah, no, this is serious. You're going to get a visible brand.
It's work.
Yeah.
It's not just a one-time thing. Okay, cool. I like that.
A little creepy.
A little creepy, but I mean, fish. All the fish you can eat.
Well, I mean, otherwise you'd have everybody and their brother would be down there not contributing, saying they would fight for us, but not really.
Okay.
So tell me a little bit about the place, Rolo, that you choose to sleep. Do you sleep somewhere within the grotto itself?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm going to say that it's like a theoretical, it's like the water bearer cave. So it's like there's like the room, like the main living area where it was easier to build all the platforms, and then it builds up, and there'll be a place in the back that's not easy to get to. So, but that had a natural cave, and that's been extended, and that's kind of the water bearers, holy place. So it's not exactly his place because he'll pass it on. But like somebody in the past probably, painted on the walls. Odd nicks and knacks in there. Nicks and knacks? That's a weird way. That's a weird way of saying it, but odd knickknacks.
Seriously, someone with the last name of Nixon needs to create a shop called Nixon Knacks. Seriously. Yeah. Sorry, carry on. Knickknacks.
Yeah. And that's the water bearer cave. But he probably doesn't even sleep in the back of it. He sleeps out right at the front, I think. Is hooked up like a hammock. So he's right out there, whereas the old water bearer slept in the very back of the place. So he's much more like he's right out in the open.
Okay.
Hanging like a hammock hanging from poles stick out over the water.
Oh, that's cool. I really like that. Question then, when you're awakened this morning by Blackjack, are you alone in your hammock? Is that a normal thing that you are alone?
We'll say that currently it's a thing because Blackjack isn't in the hammock anymore.
Ah, okay. But normally Blackjack would as a guardian?
No. Used to have been, but they're not sharing that, and it wasn't a position thing. They might have been like together for quite a bit, but
what went
they
wrong?
aren't anymore.
What went wrong?
I'm gonna say it was a drifting apart. So it was kind of a mutual decision that they just weren't, you're the boss now. It feels weird. You work for me. It feels weird.
Okay.
They're still friends and everything, but not what they were.
Okay. Blackjack comes in. I imagine that knocking isn't a thing down here, right? Because if everybody walls are fabric, there's nothing to knock on.
Yeah.
So she claps a couple of times outside of the sheet, but then it's Blackjack. She doesn't really wait for you to come answer the door. She just claps a couple times and then moves it aside and sticks her head in, looks around, and there's a moment where she might be looking to see if you're by yourself or not. She comes over to the hammock. Rolo.
Yeah. As he does the weird roll out of the hammock maneuver that I could never do without hitting the ground.
Idris Elba, so you pull it off with panache. She says, listen, we lost 4 branded. That the fish shipment that was going to Sector 10 was hit. They took everything. I'd like to form up some more people to go get it back.
Four? Well, sure, of course. When did we find out? Just now?
There's smoke on the horizon, and our lookout was able to spot. They took out both vehicles and then stripped everything down.
Well, I think that in the spirit of adventure, that I'm going to be more of a Captain Picard kind of leader, or no, a Captain Kirk kind of leader. Sorry, I'm going to go on the away party here.
Well, a Kirk leader is very different. So
yeah. So
the Picard leader is we surrender. No, sorry.
Do we have any any friendly vehicles we upstairs, top side, I would say.
She takes a moment and says, "We sent out our best with a shipment to Sector 10. I can get on the radio and call for Hound."
Oh, well, yeah. See if Hound is available. The Gobstopper would be a good way to, if there's somebody took out 2 of our vehicles, we probably need something more serious than what we're going to find upstairs.
Yeah. Lookout said it was Wendy's.
Little shutter, which you can only do for around her. Like that's the heebie-jeebies. And start getting clothes, weapon, and you don't have to give me the names as the player, but I think that he would probably know the names of all of his brandeds. So, and then it'd be like checking to see if they had people that he needed to notify before they left.
Oh, that's nice. Because, yeah, that could be a thing. All right, let's pick up. We're going to jump over to you, Hound.
Okay.
So, Hound, let's say that it's it gets extremely hot at night. Or, sorry, it gets extremely hot during the day, as you would expect. Like this is desert temperature that happens in most of the areas. That's why we have an oasis. When do you do most of your driving? Because if you drive during the heat of the day, there's a risk. If you drive at night, then your headlights are on, there's a risk. So when do you normally drive?
From dawn to early morning, and then late afternoon through twilight. So basically, when you have sunlight, but not much before the heat of the day happens with the dark of night.
Cool. Okay. Well, we will say that it's the point where you have been driving. Are you ferrying, like are you taking a shipment, or are you taking passengers right now?
I kind of get the idea that I prefer to haul things and not people, because I'm used to being by myself. So maybe right now I'm hauling a single passenger and their cargo.
All right. We're going to say that you're hauling knee-high, and you are hauling knee-high. She is she's a trader, so TRADER, not a person who's traitorous, and she deals in gears and
not soft drink. I'm so sad.
Not soft drink. Well, I'm not going to lean that hard into it. Knee-high is no, she's not grape flavored. Dang it! Now I'm stuck. No, knee-high is in her. I mean, she appears to be in her 40s, and she isn't quite as spry as she used to be. Her fingers are gnarled, and she's always got just grease underneath her nails because she's always fidgeting with small machine parts and the like. She's probably peppered you with hundreds of questions about every aspect of the gobstopper. How have you handled those questions?
I'm fluent in bullshitium. I've been giving her so many false answers about the fact that Gabi runs off of compressed erudite machinery that I have designed myself that pushes down while pushing up to give us maximum thrust and minimum altitude and accentuates the maneuverability.
Do you think she buys it, or has she just kept asking questions to try to trap you?
I would expect that she's been asking questions. I mean, I suspect that I come off rather purposefully as someone who is a little on the ditzy side. So,
Oh, interesting.
yeah, maybe she thinks that I really don't know. And maybe she suspects
Somebody else built it?
What?
I mean, that somebody. I mean, you're trying to lead her to believe that somebody else built it.
Yes. And takes care of it.
That's great.
Her. Him.
Oh.
No, him.
Okay.
I'm not going to drive a girl bus. It's just weird. And everybody has girl vehicles. She this, she that. No, Gabi is Gabi.
I think Gabi sounds boyish. I think it reads Gobstopper is a guy bus.
But not afraid to be sensitive when I need him to be.
So he's not a toxic bus. Okay,
Not
good.
a toxic bus.
Nice. I like Gabi a lot. So you guys have been riding throughout the morning hours, and you know that you're in a couple hours going to need to break it down for the afternoon to wait out the big bake, you know, when it gets up in the 110 to 115 degree weather, the kind of thing that you really don't want to be out in. And you receive a staticky call on the CB radio that you built out of 3 or 4 different iterations of a CB radio. And you recognize Blackjack's voice. Say, this is Oasis. This is Blackjack of Oasis. Are you out there, Hound? Are you out there?
If I say no, will you believe me?
It's good to hear your voice, Hound. Listen, we need you. We need Gob. We need Gabi. Can you make your way to us?
How soon?
Well, sooner the better. We lost a shipment, and Rolo wants to get it back.
Okay. So by lost a shipment, I'm guessing you mean not it fell off the vehicle. You lost it as in somebody took it.
Yeah, we know exactly where it most likely is.
Okay. Yeah, so I can be there at sunset. Is that soon enough?
That gives us enough time to get ready.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
please.
I don't want my tires melt. My tires. The fake tires. The tires on the side. I don't want my hover tires melting.
Okay. If you can make it sooner, please do. But
I will tell Rillo pad. I will make it as soon as I can. I'll put the pedal down.
okay. If you can drive through, you know, I'd appreciate it. I'll owe you. We've got some barter. We can swing your way.
You know, you wouldn't ask if you didn't need it. We'll talk when I get there, okay?
Thank you. Be safe.
From what?
There are Wendy's about.
Oh, mother, pus bucket.
So Knee-High comes out from behind, and she draws across the little curtain, sticks her head through. She's got a pair of goggles, the literal like bottoms of Coke bottles that
Cool.
that she's kind of sawed off and then fashioned into goggles. Did she say Wendy's?
No, she said Wimpy's. Wimpy's like, you know, the old burger place Wimpy's. They're not very strong people. There's nothing to worry about. I've dealt with them. You push them over with a pinky, they're so small. It's fine.
That was Oasis. She said Oasis. Are you going to Oasis? Do they let you in?
Ask you if you don't mind if we go there on the way to where I was going to drop you off.
She thinks for a moment, kind of rubs her greasy little hands. Sounds like you'd like to manipulate her to be okay with a stop.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's have you roll with hot. So you roll 2d6 and you add your hot stat, which is a 1, a +1. Oh, have you used the roll for your party before? I can't remember.
I'm just looking at it now.
Cool. So if you put a number to the left
Yep.
of the D6 or the D6P, you put a 2 there and hit submit, the red button, and then those 2 dice. And if you look to the right there, there's a color drop down. You can choose the color of your dice.
Oh. And then submit.
Oh my.
Wow.
Yeah. That is a fail. That is a fail. So she says, I tell you what, if you get me into Oasis, if you get me in there, let me walk around for a bit, have some fish. Okay, we can stop there. But I've never been in, and I don't want to be branded. You get me in?
Well,
What do you
I
do?
can get you in. Just know that if you don't behave yourself, there's going to be double twigs to pay.
Gee, double twigs.
Listen, I'm a trader. I don't cause trouble. I make deals. I fix things like this carburetor, which I think is probably an upgrade to the carburetor that you have. It is not. Just so you know, she is trying to tell you it's a better carburetor than what you operated on. And if you want, I could swap those out.
I don't really touch my carb. What's this? No, no. Let me think about it. Okay, we're gonna play some music. We're gonna ride along. We're gonna have a good time, and you're gonna be quiet, and we'll get there.
Right, sure, I'll be quiet. That's no problem. Hey, listen. And then she's not quiet and asking questions.
I'm the best at being quiet.
Yeah, she's not quiet. She's not very good at quiet.
No.
So we will skip ahead a bit of time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm gonna open the magic thing underneath the.
Might I ask for a short break?
I think that's a great idea. Why don't we take about a 7-minute bio break?
Yeah, I think actually, Cookie might need a bio.
Oh, need 10 minutes? You want 10 minutes?
10-minute, yeah, 10-minute cookie bio break.
Sounds good. All right. See you guys it's 2 after, so we'll see you at 12 after.
And I'm volunteering you.
I won't turn twice.
Hey, John, I'm back.
Oh, I was muted. Pam and Cookie just got back.
Right.
You missed the jingle jangle of her dog tags.
I'm glad we extended
Oh God, you put off the screen.
the break. I was able to. We have a hamster and he has been sick, so we have to feed him by hand and give him some medicine. So I had just enough time to take care of that.
What? That's it. That's all you get.
Well, I hope your hamster gets to feeling better.
I hope so too. He's not eating solid food, like hard foods, but he's eating vegetables like spinach, and then we give him a little. So he's getting better, but he's not completely over it. Hamsters, man, like they get a little sick, and the mortality rate is super high. So,
Yeah, I think that's the case with the smaller the animal, the less tolerant they are of getting sick.
yeah, the survival rate of this particular illness is 18%.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but he's still around and kicking, and when I hold him, I have to grab the scruff of his neck to feed him. He's pretty energetic, so hopefully he's gonna be all right. Good.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. This is perfect. Like I was telling John, it was perfect for me. I needed that amount of time to take care of it.
Oh, ah.
55-pound dog just jumped on her.
With all four. Because she's a big lap dog, apparently. Can I sit forward, please? So I don't need my character sheet right now, do I?
No, you could.
Okay. Where were we?
We were skipping ahead. So we will skip ahead to the beginning of nightfall. So it's starting to get a little dark outside. You can see the blazing sun near the horizon as you, Rolo, are up with several of your branded, and Blackjack is not. She's not about to let you go without coming along unless you want to change that. That, as you know, will put Oasis at risk without her there and without you there.
No. It is time to put the foot down, and you've got to stay.
You know the Hound won't fight for you, and these branded, they're good. I've trained them, but they're not as good as me.
Which is why you need to stay and keep the Oasis safe.
Well, there is no Oasis if you're not there.
There will always be an Oasis.
Oh.
I think that you are trying to convince her to stay, right?
Yeah.
I think so. Let's see if you can. You're not offering any type of harm or threat, so I feel that you're trying to manipulate her. So let's have you roll plus hot.
I chance to learn this dice rolling here. My hot is 0, so I don't have to mess with ads.
Yeah, my sad thing is I had a +1 to my roll and I still failed. Sucks.
So
That appears to be a 6 + 1, a 7.
Woo!
All right, on a 7 to 9, they'll go along with you. They need some concrete assurance, corroboration, or evidence first. So you tell that there will always be an oasis. She says, I'll stay, but you need more. There are only 5 here. Let me grab 3 more, but then you can go without me.
if that's what it takes to keep you here, then sure.
Okay. Okay. And then she runs off and she'll grab Panache and Majestra and Qantas.
Names that I almost picked for myself.
They're all good. We have similar taste.
Yes.
Cool. So you have a lot of people to be carrying around. We see the bus coming, the trail of dust from Gabi as your driver Hound beats down the trail, and yeah, you see that they are waiting. So the market has grown up around. So the top side is where we have, I would imagine there's probably like a place for people to stay, maybe some kind of cantina or a bar, probably some people who service vehicles that travel in and out, some place to keep your vehicle. Maybe there's some kind of entertainment that happens here, right? So I'm trying to think like touristy type stuff, people who travel here often, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What would be there? But yeah, you're able to see along the road from, I would say that is the road off to the west is where you see Gobstopper arriving. We cut to the Gobstopper. She pulls in. Now, as I look at the write-up for Gabi, she is not sorry, I was misgendering your vehicle. I apologize for that.
Yeah.
He's massive, a workhorse, and vintage and slow. Is he loud, or is because of the alternate fuels and stuff you've done, is he not that loud? I'm curious.
I was kind of hoping that he was. I mean, loud was the one that I almost picked, and I'm like,
Loud seems like it would fit with all your hover stuff pretty well.
I was gonna say, how much hum do we think we're getting from that? Yeah.
I mean, are these big blowers and stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, does loud have to be 100% like the volume? Could it also be blowing dust clouds and stuff?
Oh, it certainly could be. Let me ask you this, though. When it comes to the hover technology, are you seeing that Gabi is up on a buffet of air, or do you think that there's some kind of future tech electromagnetic field that kind of turns off gravity as it were?
Like the Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of like more what I was thinking, but I would say that there's probably some sort of ventilation that goes along with that, which is what I was picturing. So anyways, yeah, that's why I was thinking it was more like a hum.
Cool. So it's like a wall,
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
Would work. The closer I get, the louder, and how does that work? Does it get higher or lower?
Coming towards you higher, going away.
So
lower.
it gets higher. It's sort of like a
As you start to head towards the neon lights of Oasis's little entertainment stuff, Nihai comes up to the front, unbidden. She pushes the little curtain aside and blinks. She says, "Oh, I haven't been here since I was a kid. I'd never even met the new water bearer. What's he like? What's his Rolo, right? Rolo. That's his name, Rolo."
Mm-hmm. He's an albino with bright pink hair. Very unusual individual.
Oh, they don't get sun down there. That makes sense. Yeah. That reads.
Might want to strap yourself in. It gets a little bumpy as we get closer.
Oh, you've got a bar up here. And she reaches up. I'll just stand. I want to see this.
You know the braking is going to be hard. Harder than it needs to be.
Yeah. And so she gets jostled around. She like come forward and throw her hand up on the plexiglass.
Yeah.
Eventually, she will go back and buckle herself in. You convince her with skillful braking.
Yes.
And as you come closer, you pick him out. You see Rolo is there. He's above ground. He's come out to greet you, as it were. Blackjack is here as well. And how do you and Blackjack get along? Because you're pretty. And I don't know, is Blackjack a jealous kind of person from the time when Rolo and Blackjack were together?
Yes.
Nice.
I'll throw that out there. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, Blackjack was pleasant with you over the radio. She's cordial, but she was also kind of buttering you up, I imagine. She sees you pulling up, and
that could have been part of the problems with the train. Was he went from being just one of a couple or a few maybe possible disciples, even though the old water bearer always told him it was going to be him, but then suddenly he's the leader of the community and has a lot more attention. And if she had a jealous nature, then that would be magnified by suddenly everybody wants a piece of him.
I can see that. That makes sense. So her jaw sets as you come up, but she's not going to be snide. She doesn't snarl or anything like that. And it's just like Greyhound bus where the doors open up. You have that little gear that you pull and the two doors will open up, or is it a lot more locked down, more like there's a covered door over top of things? Like, what does it look like when these guys start to get on?
Oh, if it doesn't have the old pull the handle on the doors, I mean, I probably have a couple of hatches because you can't load gear on through that narrow thing. So, but the passenger one probably, it has just the regular side door.
That's cool. I like that. So yeah, within a few moments, you've opened up the hatch, and these branded start coming up. I'm imagining just because, right? They have brands on the side of their neck. Is it a pictogram brand, or does it actually say Oasis on it, or is it some kind of thing where they like have a bottle cap, or how does this brand?
I think it is probably a circle with maybe a wavy line in the middle.
Oh, nice.
Representing the water. And underground, the whole thing all together. And it's an O, so Oasis.
So is it round or an oval?
Round. Or an oval. I
don't care.
okay. If you flinch, it becomes an oval. All right, awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've got a gang here. I'm saying you have a gang. Technically, the water bearer isn't like a hard holder where you automatically come with a gang. But
Yeah.
I think it's cool with 2-player characters and just the fictionally set up that he's branded. Yeah. So they're going to follow your orders to a degree, but yeah, they're not yours per se. But you could definitely take the reins.
They belong to the Oasis.
They do, exactly.
You know, they respect the leader, but not necessarily. I mean, yeah.
This would be but I was imagining it was like, you know, defending. This is extending that, but hey, I'm willing to extend because, you know, our people are part of the Oasis, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm the new, more expansive water bearer than the last one. So as they go on, I go on, and I will call out to Hound. Hound.
Trying to think if I have a nickname for him. I have to. Brown Sugar, how are ya?
I'm fine.
I hate that nickname. I believe I just heard.
And I will hand over a pottery vessel with a waxed kind of sealed lid and butternut latest batch. I think you'll like it.
Stand up on one tiptoe. Of course, the foot kicks back a little bit and go on either cheek. Thank you. How are you?
So after that, I will step to arm's distance. That's after that assault on my cheeks, and I'm
that's
fine.
Not cool for you?
Huh?
That would not be cool for you?
You're not part of my community, so.
Oh, so no, I wouldn't do that if I haven't done it before. So I will do whatever little cutesy, little curtsy thing that I would do to you.
I mean,
which looks really ridiculous in my pants. But
I mean, you have we have a high thing. So I like you. So it's I would tolerate it. Not like I just don't think that he's somebody who gets kissed on the cheek. So, you know, it's
so I would be the only one that does that. Does it make you squirm a little bit?
Yeah.
I'll kiss you on both cheeks.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it. That's amusing.
I mean, he's the leader of his little community there. I don't think they're all like, "Oh, how you doing, water bearer? Your holy shit."
Knee-high comes up as everybody's like rifling in, and she sees you two together, and she looks at you, Rolo, and says, where's Rolo? The pale one with the weird hair?
Hair. The albino, the water bearer.
I'm Rolo. Oh, also, I'm branded too, by the way. Just like,
nice. Okay.
That is very cool, actually.
Because I too have sworn to give my body for the Oasis.
And have.
She looks at you for a moment, Hound.
If you close your eyes and look at him in the sunrise, and there's sand in your eyes from blowing around, he looks like an albino with pink hair.
You were playing with me. She said that I could go to visit the oasis, Rolo. She said that. Hound said that.
Well, you're here.
Yes.
Welcome to Topside. If you want to go down to the oasis, the gatekeeper will talk with you.
Okay. And she's gonna
Here
go
he is.
and
Behave yourself.
she'll get her crates of parts and the like, because you never know. She doesn't really want to be separated from it. Never know if you're actually coming back or not. And so she...
I will help, which probably means that
All the other people will.
other people will help.
Yes.
Yeah, you start to help, and then all of a sudden, Panache and Quanta are both like, no, please, no, that's all right. You should organize it.
Do you need fuel? Are you ready to go? We need to get there immediately. We have people in danger, if not already lost.
You know, you could have told me that on my way, but I guess I should have realized when these were mentioned. Okay. I need to check on my fuel and declog the outtakes, and then I'll be ready to go. Okay?
Anything we can do to help you, let us know.
No. I've got this. Don't worry about it. Just keep an eye on her because she doesn't know shit about shit.
Well, before long, Knee-High has cleared out and is heading in to try to...
Someone needs to make sure that all she took was her stuff and not her stuff into some of mine, too.
Well, there's only someone that can make sure of that. That'd be you. I don't think any of us would recognize it unless your stuff is all clearly marked.
It all has like a hound mark. Yeah.
HS.
She doesn't take anything. She knows better than that. Like, she does hope that you will take her on if this thing with Oasis doesn't work out. So Knee-High leaves. You are able to check your intakes and make sure that she's ready to go, and you're back on the road as the sun disappears over the horizon. It is dark by the time that you are out on the road. High beams on, and we have a low hum of the bus.
Oh, sorry. I just realized I'm the one that will have to interview her when I come back. I forgot I even have a move for it.
Do we want to backtrack? Do you do the interview before you left, or you want to save that for later?
If there's enough time with her checking her intakes.
Yeah, let's do it. I want to see this moving. I want to see it.
I do too. And plus, yeah, realistically, it would take a little bit of time.
So I forgot. I have all are welcome.
So that's an actual move that you found?
Yeah. So while that's happening, then I would have talked to Knee-High once her stuff was all out, and like the top side is, for everyone. If you actually want to come down into the Oasis, these are the laws, and I would give her the basic laws because they're pretty simple. And then when I personally welcome newcomers in, I get to roll plus sharp and then ask them some questions.
Very cool. Let's see you do that. You are purple?
No, that Pam's purple. I'm going.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pam is purple. That's easy for me to remember.
D6. That's sharp, which is 1. Did that? Where the heck is
6 and a 1. Your last roll was an 8 plus 1. Wait, what? 8 plus 1?
Yeah. How's that?
Did you well, it's fine. It's a mixed success. We're just going to go ahead and clear the room, and we'll start fresh. That is a mixed success on a 7-9. You ask 2 questions.
Okay. Well, the first one, I'm sure. I mean, I don't really have to ask them because somebody's going to probably search her for that.
Okay.
I don't know. We probably like. Are they keeping any malicious secrets?
Ooh, is Nihai keeping any malicious secrets? Yes. You sense among her, you feel. Let me ask. When you ask these questions, how do you see this, Rolo? Is this a thing where you're kind of reaching into the abyss? Are you pulling the power of the oasis to give you guidance? Or are you just really aware and acutely good at observing people?
I'm thinking that probably for this, it's probably like I did many years of working the gate, and it's an experience thing. It's observant. For other things, there is like in the water bearers area, there's probably like a little water temple thing that's probably where I would gaze into the abyss for my more. But yeah, I think my particular talents lie in observation more. But there is a holy aspect, I suppose.
Okay, cool. So, are they hiding my enemies among them? Malicious secrets. Sorry, your question is malicious secrets. Her Coke bottle glasses hide her eyes pretty well, but you're observant enough to look from the side, and you see that there is a wildness to them that she keeps controlled. Most times, you feel that she may be descended from a Wendy. Perhaps not by choice, but that there is an affliction among them, and she is touched by it. That is the malicious secret that she hides.
Oh, that kind of answers this other one. But okay, I will go with, are they hiding any weapons? I know she's not carrying like a rifle, obviously, or something like that, but there might be weapons that I don't instantly recognize as such.
She does have just like a small knife that's hidden in the carburetor that she carries with her. Do you take it away from her, or do you tell her, hey, here are the rules, you better not break it?
I will not take it. I will like pull it out of her carburetor, like to show that I found it, and I'll put it back. And the penalty for violence, don't do violence here. This is a safe place. You don't need this for defense, but I'm not going to take it from you. But know that you will be punished. for transgressing. This is a safe place.
She nods. Yes, yes, of course. It's just for self-defense, and if there's, like you say, I won't need it. I haven't been here since you became the water bearer, but it was good before. So, thank you. Thank you very much.
Even those from dark pasts are welcome.
She stiffens for a moment when she senses that you have picked up a bit about her. Oh.
The waters can wash away that darkness. Welcome to the oasis. This place will heal you.
There's that tension in her neck and her shoulders when you hinted that you knew. It all relaxes when you tell her that the waters could wash away, and she's very effusive. Thank you so much. She reaches out to touch just like your chest or your forearm, something, and then she'll get her crates.
He'll actually hug her. He probably hugs people. It's different than the kissing on the cheeks. Just saying. Like, so he will give the comforting, welcoming hug, and then, let somebody else take her in so she can, like, hey, look, clean water in abundance. Get washed, get clean, stop smelling like the junk.
That's lovely. Blackjack will come out, and everybody's ready to go. And I imagine that Blackjack is not super happy that you're going. You've come up with your arrangement, so she'll not disrespect you by being emotional. But she says, they are here for you as much as they are here for the oasis. She points to the branded. Make sure that you come back. We don't have any acolytes who are ready to step into the role.
I'll be safe. I'm with the Hound and Gobstopper. The Wendies are already pissing themselves.
Nice. And we have a bit of dust that kicks up in the night and the high beams ahead as we pull back into that you guys traveling. So you have a general location of where from the lookout. You know where it was that your caravan, your small 2-car caravan, was hit. So you guys can make your way to that without much trouble. You come there and you can actually see it off in the distance along the horizon. There's a pair of really large sand dunes that frame it, and you can see there's a low fire that's still going. The rubber will burn for hours upon hours, and for dramatic effect, it's still burning because I like that. And so Gobstopper, you pull him up near that area. As you get closer and the high beams wash over it, you're able to see that one of the cars has been flipped over, and it's on its side. All of the glass has broken out. One of the tires is still on fire. It was sending plumes of dark black coal smoke, and as you look upon it, you're able to see that the Wendies have painted their symbol, right? Which is it's like a white face with wild red hair and dark eyes. It's not the best artistic quality, but it is rather iconic.
Yeah.
And then there's the van. The van itself looks like there were a couple of crossbow bolts that came through the front, like large crossbow, like stop sign made into crossbow bolts. Arquebus, I guess, isn't that the term for a giant crossbow? Whatever. Right? My D&D knowledge is weak nowadays. But that went through the front and evidently took out the driver, but there's no body there because good eats.
Yeah.
And but the van itself looks like it's just been kind of stripped down. When you look in the front, your guys are all going to kind of pile out, but you can see they stripped down. They've taken everything out of it that they possibly can, from the radio to the floorboard to they've actually somebody siphoned off the gas out of it. Stripped the tires. It's not on blocks.
So yeah, tires gone, everything's gone, and no dead people and nobody responding to us being here.
Nope.
Like a possible survivor that had hidden someplace and then, oh hey, it's the good guys. Yeah.
No, nobody comes out. No one makes any noises. There's no groaning. There's no one who is left behind. What do you do?
Is there a trail or tracks, like anywhere like obvious that like where the Wendy's went from here? Or,
you're really looking for answers here, and I think that it would be a great time for you to gaze into the abyss, because you're not really reading a sitch per se.
Oh yeah.
I'm down for it. I could even be asking for guidance.
Sweet. So when you gaze into the abyss, you roll plus weird. You're opening your brain to the world's psychic maelstrom. I was using the name for a different move from a different game. Opening your brain to the world's psychic maelstrom. Roll plus weird. On a hit, the MC tells you something new and interesting about the current situation and might ask you a question or two. You must answer them.
That would be a 4.
Well, so the good news is that your weird was highlighted by your friend Hound, so you get an XP. The bad news is that I make a move.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what does it look like when you open your brain to the psychic maelstrom?
Well, I do think there is some a religious aspect. So if he is actually opening his brain to the waters, basically the flow, I think for him, then probably he has like a canteen, like everybody has a canteen, and just probably would have poured some on his hand, splashed his face, and then like, holding his hands over his eyes. In his brain, it would be a waterfall. And like spent many hours in devotion in front of a waterfall in the back of the oasis. And as you like unfocus, like seeing images like kind of on the back. If like you ever seen like when you see like movies rear projected, onto stuff that's not made for it. So it's like that the waterfall acting as the screen, and so images kind of dancing as the waters move.
I like that. I like that imagery. Cool. So you wash your face. Hound, you see this. You've seen all the branded, all 8 of them. Kind of, they've walked out, checked out the 2 vehicles, looked around, smelled the air, looked for tire tracks and the like. It's a little confusing because the Wendy's like to ride in circles around where they're doing to hide their tracks. What are you doing, Hound?
Honestly, while Rolo is doing that, I'm watching Rolo. And I'm watching Rolo's back because we don't know that it's safe here yet. And if the rest of the branded are off, kind of looking around and checking for things, I figure, and he's doing his weirdness, then I figure that someone needs to make sure that he doesn't get taken out when he's distracted.
Cool.
Also, part of that process, just thinking about it, to add further detail, he specifically would have been imagining the face of each of the people that was gone. That, at least that he knew of, that was on this mission. So making a very strong conscious effort to like think of them each as an individual.
Cool. So let's say that you, just to put a name to it, let's say that Chicklet was the driver of the car that was flipped over, not the van. And so you're trying to imagine Chicklet and sensing her, remembering her, thinking of her. And as you do, the images, you see the waterfall, it turns from that beautiful crystal blue of the waters of the oasis to like a dark crimson hue. And through that, it turns again to an orange and a bright yellow, and you can almost feel the heat of a fire. And you smell what at first might seem like the smell of burned meat, right? Because butternut cooks, right? So you would know this well, but there's also a mix-in of burnt hair, and you can hear a piteous wail, and then that is followed by a scream, and you see within this cave that you know is not far away, that the Windies have Chicklet, and they are slowly slicing off flanks of meat while she is tied down and helpless to fight them. So they are systematically feeding from her right now. And when you come back, that is the image that's stuck in your mind. Hound is near you. You have a general feel of the direction of where the caves are located. They're hidden well. You think you can lead the Hound to it?
After retching, he'll get up off of his knees, because I imagine he actually did that on his knees, and like that way, they're in a cave. We must hurry now.
So
He looks pretty sick. I
yeah,
think.
I'm sure.
Forgive my lack of acting emotion.
Is the intent to get all your followers back?
If there's any that can be saved, we must save.
No. I'm sorry. This was me asking, like, how close are the branded that you brought? Because I know they're kind of scattered out looking for clues and stuff. Do we want to round? Is the intent to round them back up before we leave?
Are you asking out of character or in character? If you're asking in character, yes, of course. We came here to get our.
I'm asking out of character only because I don't know how scattered they are and how hurried you are. So I should be able to tell by your intent and I should be able to tell by your intensity whether you want to just like, we got to go.
Oh, we have to go, but I assume, the cars are just right where we're at, right? I don't think they're scattered to the 5 seasons or anything.
Okay.
Yeah, gathering up the group and having them all get into Gabi is easy enough.
Okay, cool. No joking from me.
For which there is a thankfulness that is not expressed.
Cool. So you guys can pile back into the bus and take off. You know, from your times of being out in the wastes, Hound, you know that Wendy's aren't crazy enough not to have lookouts.
Of course.
So what's your plan here? You've got 9, counting Rolo, soldiers, people who are armed. Oh, quick question. How do you imagine, Rolo, that they're armed? Do they have like pistols and rifles, or is this all hand weapons?
You know, since their main intent is defense, if the people in the cars were like the first pick, that would have probably been where we had, depending on how wealthy we're supposed to, relatively, I would imagine they would have had the guns, and now we're down to maybe another hunting rifle like me, and then, you know, hand weapons.
Okay.
You know, I don't imagine really having the armed gang.
Let's say then that they've all got knives. One guy's got a spear. There are a few crossbows among them. One guy's got a bat with nails in it that he's really proud of. And Quanta has got like a Ruger pistol. Quanta's got the pistol. All right, sweet.
He's our Big Daddy OG.
Exactly. All right. So as you guys come closer, the cave is actually the cave where you feel them, where you sense them. As I said, it's just a couple of clicks, kilometers away. It is not on any obvious road. And they must do something to hide their tracks, because if they have cars that are somehow in this cave area, you don't see any tracks whatsoever leading up the way.
Does Gobstopper leave tracks?
No. That's why he's not a vehicle.
There you go.
Oh.
Wendy's aren't known to be super technical. Like they're scavengers. They use vehicles that they steal off of other people, and they'll mod it, right? They'll add cool stuff onto it.
How tough is I mean, I know it's tough, but at this point, you know, kind of like, it's driver time. Are you going to take them all out? I mean, I'm not, I think you understand that you can drop us off and then we'll go do stuff, but kind of expecting you to be the save the day person here.
Yeah.
That's like the expectation.
So my expectation is that we need to have some sort of reconnoitering, because I can't just plow in there if there's like the entire Wendy horde. How many? I mean, what do we know about them? How many are usually around at one time?
Oh, good question. So the Wendy's, there's never been a horde of Wendy's. Wendy's often will be small clans, and by clans it's like 4 or 5 families. The most you'll see of a Wendy is like a medium-sized gang. Usually it's like a small gang of 15 or so individuals. There are family units, like there are Wendy's children. They're rarely seen. They almost never leave the central area where all the food and stuff is brought back to. But there are generations of Wendy's that have come about, and then there are people who are brought in and become Wendy's, which is really, really weird.
Yeah, I would agree. So,
so you would guess there's between 15 or 20. And I'm sorry to speak over you. Just trying to make sure my answer was clear.
I need to look at my move. That's the one. Okay, so let's talk about the entrance of the cave.
Okay, let's talk about it.
How big is it? Is it something that Gabi can fit through or fit into, or do we basically need to?
Good question. So let's kind of skip forward. We'll say that you've driven or ridden Gabi up close enough to get. And I see. Do you imagine you have like binoculars? Or
one of the rifles has a scope on it. Or something.
Oh, nice! I like a rifle scope,
Yeah.
something like that. So you're sighting in, and you would estimate that Gabi could probably fit in there, but it's going to be a tight squeeze. Like it's a thing where you get in, if it doesn't open up, it's going to be a real tight squeeze. You're not going to have a great deal of turn radius, and it's not like the Wendy's post guards to stand right by the mouth of the cave. They just happen to have someone that's up on a dune that's nearby that just keeps a general eye on things.
Gotcha.
But if you wanted to read a sitch, that might give you more information. So when you read a charged sitch, roll plus sharp. On a hit, you can ask the MC questions. Oh, wait. What was your other stat that was highlighted? Sharp, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, because somebody moved the X off of the sharp, off the highlights.
Not what I wanted to do.
Cool. So either way, you're going to get an XP for this roll.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
It's not bad. Nine.
A niner. Okay, on a 9, a 7 to 9, you get to ask one question. Do you have the question list with you?
I will in just a second.
Okay.
Okay, clearly I want what's my best way in.
Are you muted?
I am. Thank you. I must have muted myself when I thought I was unmuting myself. And I was staring at the picture that you sent me because holy crap.
Is that
Wow,
the
it is.
picture?
I was looking at some scary Ronald McDonald ones.
There's so many. Isn't it scary how many there are? It's just, woof. Okay. Ugh. I need some brain bleach now. Thank you. What's your best way in? So if you want to go in with Gabi, it's right through the mouth of it. That's where they drive their vehicles through. So there's probably an area where you could go in, grab what they have. That is the best way in. Of course, there are most likely other entrances to the cave that would be easier to sneak into, but using Gobstopper to your advantage, being a driver,
Yeah,
that's just your best way in. That's what you do.
almost full. So, okay. All right, let's do this. It's going to get ugly really fast. Okay?
Okay.
Well, it sounds to me like you're going straight into danger without hedging your bets, Hound.
Yeah, isn't that nifty?
Yeah.
So I get to apply my daredevil.
Probably yell to the guys, everybody hold on.
Oh, I love it. It's like everybody. And we'll say that Quanta is up front, and so she's got her little Ruger pistol, and she's holding on to the same handle that the earlier knee-high was holding on to, but it's a different situation now. And so we start coming over. You come over a rise, and then ting, ting. There are a couple of bullet shots that come and ting off of the armor. Whoever was up on lookout, they are trying to fire a few shots from their rifle at you, but Gobstopper, and there you can see the firelight. It's kind of hidden down. A couple of the dunes hide that from the road or any of the normal place, but as you come closer, your high beams on, you're headed right for the mouth of that cave. Boom! Into the top, bunch of sand comes down as Gobby just surges forward into the cave area. You can see that there are vehicles to your left. There are several fires here and a bunch of tents. And you can see there's like a Winnebago that's no longer mobile, but some kind of place where these Wendy's live, or it could be their, who knows, could be where they store stuff. And they've already been alerted because you weren't subtle about it, and they had gunshots. So why don't we go ahead and enter into battle here, right?
Right.
Woohoo!
Awesome. So we need to do battle. When you're in battle, you can bring the battle moves into play. The battle moves are located, if you've got the basic ref book, the battle moves can be found on page 29. And that is exchanging harm, seize by force, and there's some tactical and support moves, but for 2 players, not necessarily. We can engage it if it feels right for the situation. You just tell me what you want to try to accomplish, and we'll find our way through it. It's no problem. So as you guys burst on, you got a bunch of small arms fire that's taking place right now. There's chaos. There are Wendy's that are running around. You see some of them don't even have their makeup on, the white cake makeup that is the symbol of the Wendy's when they are on the hunt. You can see that there's a small crow's cage where you unfortunately know the Chicklet is located. There, our fine water bearer. So Rolo, you know where Chicklet is, and there are about 12 to 15 different Wendy's, but not all of them are immediately in fighting shape. So you guys are going to exchange harm if you want to try to exchange harm, meaning if you're going to try to use Gavi to mow people down, you can do that. If you want to have the branded get out of the vehicle, because they don't have many guns, they just have a few crossbows, so it's not going to be very easy for them to fire from the vehicle, then we'll need to work that out. But what's your Rolo? I guess maybe you call the shots because you have the branded, but it's a little bit of a partnership because Hound is driving. What's the plan?
I think it's Hound has the plan until the vehicle stops, and we can disembark. So over to you, Hound.
If I see only Wendy's, I am attacking with my vehicle.
Nice. All right. Well, then why don't you see? So we take a look at the driver. You are going to be exchanging harm, and they are not a big enough group to be able to actually exceed your vehicle with a +1 armor. because you have +1 armor.
I have
The
plus.
base. Yeah, +2 because of the move, right? All right, let me double check that.
No,
What's the big? What's
Stop
the
creepy ass pictures.
So what's the base? Okay, so okay, that's right. By default, your has speed 0, handling 0, armor 0. You've got +1 armor from battle options, and then from Daredevil, you have +2 armor. So you currently have 2 armor. All right, good. Now I'm where I need to be at. I just want to make sure I took a look at that. And why don't you act under fire here as you are rolling through and trying to take some of these guys out. So you do that with +cool, which you happen to be pretty good at. And you can add your vehicle's handling.
Oh, very cool. So that's a +3, right?
Yep.
How do we clear the existing dice?
There is a clear button to the right of the submit button. I'll do it right now. There you go.
Thank you. It just reloads the page apparently. What just happened?
You rolled 4d6 of them being pips, and that's weird.
Yeah. I don't know how I did that. I thought I put in a 2. So let's try that again. Oh my God, seriously?
You roll a 4, but you have a +3.
No, I have a success, but barely, only because I have the...
Okay.
That's
So
okay.
you come through, you boom, boom, knock over a couple of Wendy's. They weren't even ready for a big honking bus to come in. They thought a couple shots, this is fine. We can deal with this. No. And so you run roughshod over a pair of Wendy's, but then as you're circling around, heading over top of one of the campfires to throw sparks and embers across these guys, a few of the Wendy's try to board, and so they are climbing up on the sides. So Rolo, I'm curious what's going on with you as you see that there are 3 Wendy's that are trying to climb up and climb in from the sides of Gobstopper, where your people are inside. What do you do?
Well, are there ways inside of Gobstopper to defend from that? I mean, do I have to open a door and climb out after them? Are there gun ports that I can stick a barrel through and shoot at these guys?
I would assume that there are gun ports because when you're talking about something that is big and ponderous at times, like Gavi, one of people's inclinations is to try to board it. And I am designing a high-tech armor electrification system so that I can zap people off of it, like a bug zapper.
So you're going to turn into a savvy head too. Cool.
But I haven't gotten it figured out yet. And the last time I tried, I ended up with 3rd-degree burns on my butt. So.
Awesome. So if
I will be trying to shoot from inside. But I mean, if they're getting to doors or hatches that would seem like that are weak points that they think they could get into, then that's probably something I can also shoot out of.
Yeah, so I think that what you're doing is you're trying to keep hold of something you have because they're trying to get inside, and what you have is nobody inside the bus with you. So why don't you roll Seize by Force, which is one of the battle moves. moves. But one of the options that you have, instead of choosing to take definite control, is you can choose to keep definite control of what's going on. So you roll plus hard.
Dun, dun, dun.
Get you an XP.
It does get me an XP.
I need to mark an XP for that.
I think Rich is actually being the man.
Is he being the man?
I mark XP for Jill because I like the XP so much.
Well, that's a failure.
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
don't have any bonuses to heart, I don't think.
Okay.
No, I actually have a 1, but that would still be a 5.
All right. On a miss, you still choose 1.
Okay, flip me back to that. Seize by force. Choose 1. I'm going to choose as my 1, keeping definite control.
Okay. Great choice. So you keep definite control. None of the Wendy's get inside. However, during the exchange, you and we'll say that you and Panache and Majestra are all there. Majestra, she fires out with a couple of crossbow bolts. Panache, he actually reaches out and tries to hack at people with his machete. One of the Wendy's grabs his arm, and they're standing on the wheel well, and they actually bite into his arm. And they rip out a huge hunk of flesh and meat.
Ugh.
And he drops his weapon, and he comes back in, and he's holding, it's bleeding profusely, and his whole hand is like, he's flexing, like he can't really feel it. Maybe there's some tendon damage. But the blood's just kind of seeping through. One of the other branded comes over and is trying to, like, ripping off a base of some of their clothes and trying to wrap it up. Now, you know where Chiclet is being held. You also see that Winnebago, and as you guys have done a quick roundabout, that is the place that, you know, I'm going to see where we're at with time, so I'm rather than making you do another, read a sitch. Whatever they've taken, they probably keep it at Winnebago, you would imagine, unless they've divvied it up and put it into tents. But anything that's larger, which you guys were taking enough fish to trade, Winnebago is most likely the place that you're going to need to go to fetch all that out.
I mean, we're in a bus, so we're probably not going to be doing any Mad Max donuts around the campfire.
Well,
there's probably a limited
it's
amount.
pretty maneuverable for its size.
She's big, but she can also float a little bit, so you can do a little bit of, like, up on the cave wall kind of stuff if you have to, I guess.
It's like some wall running.
Our people and stuff are probably in that Winnebago. How bad does Chiclet look? I mean, is Chiclet, like, it's put out of the misery time, or is it, well, okay, there's going to be horrible scars, but that looks savable? I mean, from my image in the Read a Sitch, or the opening of my mind to Maelstrom, seemed pretty bad.
It did. You would believe that if you're able to save her, that she has lost her left leg. But as long as she hasn't lost too much blood, you know, there are even rules for prosthetics.
Well, okay.
They keep you alive for a while.
That changes everything at that point then. So I don't know if I've even mentioned the Winnebago. It's just like
they've seen it.
Okay, slow me down enough to get me at that fire. And if you don't slow down, I'm still getting out. I'm getting out. I'm going for Chiclet.
Okay.
Nice. So bold. Why don't you act under fire then? And if you wish, we have helping. So if by driving you want to help, and you're all not only rolling for yourself, Rolo, but you're also rolling for the other branded because they are not going to let you go out there by yourself.
Yeah.
But if you want to help Hound, you can roll HX, and if you roll well, then you can give him a bonus to his roll.
So I have a heart of 1.
You're actually acting under fire, so you get to roll with your cool, which is +2.
Oh. Darn it, it's gonna. If I roll, I'm gonna change the color so I can tell.
You definitely need some help. You got a 7, actually. You're good.
5
You're
plus
okay.
7. Yeah.
All right. Sweet. So, with the 7 to 9, you. So, what does it look like, Hound? You're the driver. So, give me an idea. What does it look like as he says, "Hey, I'm going to that Winnebago," and the other Brandon are all up except for, of course, Majest. It was Panache. Sorry, Panache. Arm. I will put arm. So my notes are good. So for Panache, they're going to charge out with it.
Well, I would expect that I would try to come to an abrupt sliding stop close to the Winnebago, or close to I totally forgot her name. What's the name of the old restaurant?
Chicklet.
Chicklet, God, Mike. As close to Chicklet as safe. So I slow down, open the door, not the small one, but the big side door that we use for guard on stuff, and sort of do a sliding, skidding stop that will kind of help propel them a little bit.
Love it.
Yeah. And actually, is she on a cage in like a round, or is it hanging?
She's in like a crow's cage.
A crow's cage. So I'm assuming she's hanging.
Yep, exactly.
So I wonder if I could. I'll have to roll for this, I know, but I wonder if I could try to do a rolling sort of bank and throw them upward.
Oh wow, that sounds amazing.
You can try anything.
Yeah.
You are the shiznit.
Why don't you do something under fire? Why don't you act under fire here?
Okay. So okay. So that's good.
Wow, something has happened to my keyboard. I can't enter spaces. Okay, I just enter spaces. That was really weird.
It usually happens when like a crumb or something, a piece of detritus gets underneath it and it gets stuck.
Yeah, maybe. All right, cool. I'm sorry. What is it that you rolled?
I rolled a 6, 7, 8.
You are the shiznit. You added your handling, a +1, takes it to a 9, right? Same result, but still sounds cooler. Amazing. So you come up and over and are able to get Rolo up near the crow's cage, grab onto the crow's cage. But as you do that, there is a Wendy that jumps onto the hood of Gobby, and he has a meat cleaver, and he's going to start trying to hammer his way through your windshield to get to you. What do you do?
Well, I do happen to have this sawed off.
Oh, well. Gosh, I think that you're trying to seize by force and keep hold of what you've got, right?
Yeah, or, shoot his face off, one of the two.
Yeah, there's that possibility. Why don't you go ahead and roll plus hard?
Hard is a -1.
Really? On a driver?
Yeah, I thought it would be funny.
I'm surprised they even had that option.
So,
Is that a 7 minus 1, 6? Oh,
yeah.
goodness.
Do I have anything?
So you still get an option.
Yeah.
And you guys do exchange harm, so you're still going to shoot him.
Yeah, okay.
What option do you choose? Do you want to, keep definite control of what's happening? You want to suffer little harm, inflict terrible harm, impress, dismay, or frighten him?
I'm sorry. I did not mean to sound like I was calling you. Well, can he inflict harm through Gavi's armor?
He's going to be trying to get through Gavi's armor. He will be doing harm to your armor and trying to break his way through.
Gotcha.
If you choose less harm, then he's not going to be able to get through.
Well, I would definitely choose less harm.
Okay. Well, that's your one choice, and that's totally cool. So, yeah, he starts hammering away at the front windshield, but you are able to turn a bit, and he falls off the side. He comes up. He's still got his meat cleaver, but he has been unable to, there's a little spider crack at the top. It's going to be one of those things that, like, a month from now, the spider crack will be going down just a little bit more. Going to find a new windshield at some point. But right now, you're still safe. Rolo, you're up on the crow's cage. The other branded, they piled out. They like jumped out, but it was just you that made it up to the crow's cage from the way that the Gabi came up and over and was still moving. But you've got your branded. They're all trying to defend you, and a couple of them are headed into the Winnebago. You open up that crow's cage. It's not like they lock it, but her wrists are bound to the inside of the crow's cage. She's kind of held up. You can see that they have just shaved layers of flesh and meat off of her left leg. And they've done it very skillfully. Like it's not usable, but she's not going to bleed to death. Like they know how to keep you alive for a while. Yeah. Chicklet is sobbing piteously. She's in a great deal of pain, nearly delirious. I imagine you've got some kind of knife where you can cut the thongs that are holding her wrists, if you wish.
I would assume, having picked up Panache's dropped weapon.
Oh, awesome. So yeah, you take that cleaver, you chop. Not cleaver. Sorry, you had a machete. Take a machete, you slice a couple of thongs that are holding her wrists to the cage. She will kind of slump into your arms. She can't stand. You're up on a crow's cage, just about 4 feet up above the cave ground here. Mostly straw and dirt on the inside. And your guys are all...
I will direct one of my closer people to that's not Majestra, because she's the best armed, I think, with her little pistol. Everybody else with it. Somebody who's just like, I've got a bat or something. It went through everybody's.
Who had the bat with the nails in it?
Oh, Toyota. Toyota has the bat with nails in it.
Okay, and like, I'll get him to take her, so I don't have to jump down with her.
Okay.
And then
Toyota takes her down.
And then I jump down, and we'll get her onto onto Gobstopper before rejoining the. Actually, I direct him to stay with Gobstopper and with her.
Okay. Cool. So, yeah, so Toyota.
Since the back hatch is open, I want somebody so that they don't get it, and also Hound doesn't suddenly discover a Wendy kissing her on the back of the neck.
Nice. So let's see you guys. At this point, right, you have created enough chaos where the Wendy's are scattered. There are a few dead, a few others that are injured. You're doing relatively well. I'd like to see one act under fire here to see if you can get back onto the bus. And if you roll a 10 plus, you can also gather a bunch of your supplies and pull that back onto the bus and bust your way the hell out of here. Having broken the Wendy's, not going to defeat them to a man, but it's not like they're going to stand there and fight like they don't have a morale rating. So who wants to lead the acting under fire here?
Well, I think it's our driver that really wants to do that. Don't you, Hound?
We both have a high plus cool, right?
Yeah, we're both
great at cool. So,
So
there's no detriment to either one.
yeah, absolutely.
All right. So you get a 10 plus, you can get away clean. Don't forget that you can absolutely help her roll by rolling plus HX.
Oh, well, I will definitely do that. I have good HX.
Yeah,
we both do. So 7.
Which one of us was going to roll?
What?
Oh, we both roll.
Yeah,
you both roll. You're helping each other.
I'm rolling for my HX, that gives it a 10.
Okay,
Does it
on
show
it.
the pluses? I don't see it when I put.
It doesn't. It doesn't show the pluses.
Okay.
Like, I think it does it in the total or something, but I usually just do the math because I've never quite understood it. When you help or interfere someone making a roll plus HX on a 10 plus, to take +2 from the help. You roll a 10 plus, so awesome. Hound, what did you roll for your acting under fire?
The two purples are mine. So 6, 7, 8.
So you rolled an 8. Your modifications, did you add in the +2 from Rolo?
No, that would be a 10.
Awesome. That's exactly what you needed. So you wheel around, you throw off the one Wendy, you wheel back around, open up the back doors. You've got Majestra and Quanta, Majestra and Quanta watching your back as 4 others come out carrying the crates of food and whatever else they've been able to scrounge. They toss it all into the back, and there's the Wendy who was the sharpshooter. He is going to try to take pot shots at you guys as you leave, but the other Wendy's have kind of gone to hide. You hear, Rolo, as everybody's loading up and about to leave, you hear the sound of a baby crying somewhere in this cave. I don't think anybody else has heard it. And they're closing up the back door. You've got Toyota has Chiclet. Of course, Panache is still in here. He's not using his hand now, but he's up and walking around. And you heard that baby's cry. What do you do?
You're a mean person, Rich.
Thank you.
That's the nicest thing you can say to an Apocalypse World MC. Okay, we're closing the door. Da-da-da. And probably right as that's when I just can't. I have to go, so I jump out the door right as the door closes, and I close it.
What the floozy?
I have to go find the baby.
And I think we stop right there.
Oh, you are a mean person.
I know, right? At the end, this is kind of weird with 2 players, but we'll do our end of session. End of session, choose a character who knows you better than they used to, and give them a +1. If you feel like nobody knows you better, then you can choose a character and give them a -1 to your HX. So the question's pretty simple. Rolo, do you feel that Hound knows you better or knows you worse?
Oh, I think she probably knows me better. I mean, yeah. Revealing that I like my dog's tail wagging like that. Yeah. Diving out for my community she probably hasn't seen. So
You definitely put your neck on the line today. Okay. Then Hound.
Yeah.
Do you feel that Rolo knows you better or knows you worse?
I don't know that there's been any change because Rolo's attention has been on his duty as water bearer and his rescuing his people. So I don't think he's been paying a whole lot of attention to me other than what I can deliver.
Okay. Well, since it's a 2-player game, we'll just leave it at flat. So you, however, your HX goes from a 3 to a 4 with Rolo. That means that it resets. You get 1 XP for that.
Yay.
And it rolls back to reset to HX 0.
Okay.
So you need to change your HX with Rolo to a 0 and give yourself another XP.
Cool. Does that make sense, John? You think that's fair?
that's fair.
Okay.
All right. So that brings the...
I already knew that you were a competent driver that I could count on in the crisis.
Yeah, I mean, it was just nothing that, yeah.
Because that's why you had the...
That's definitely a cue to me as the MC that's the thing that we need to tackle next time for you guys to get to know each other a little better. Awesome. So that brings the first session of our little Apocalypse World game to a close. If you guys have a couple minutes, would love to do what we call Roses and Thorns, which is the feedback. Roses and thorns are positive and improvement type thing. We will start with thorns. Thorns are anything about tonight's session, from explanation of rules to story to time management, portrayal of characters, anything along those lines. Any critiques or feedback that you have for me, or if it's the LFGM setup, anything along those lines, it's all open to feedback to improve. So
It's kind of funny because you were just talking about the LFGM setup. I think it's unfortunate that there was only the 2 of us tonight. And the reason I say that is not because I dislike just a game this size. It's that you are hands down one of the best GMs I've ever played with. You're extraordinarily entertaining, and you keep everybody involved and interactive, and I really appreciate that. So to me, it's a shame that the other 2 spots were left unoccupied. And I might add also that my husband's a delightful role player, despite the fact he doesn't think he is. So people not enjoying him is not good too. But anyways, so my suggestion would be for you guys to maybe work out kind of like a last-minute deal.
Well, he's already was free, babe.
No, I know that, but I don't think that necessarily know that people like advertising them to say these are the games that are going on tonight that are not full, or a way to promote it so that people know. I don't know.
that's really interesting. Thank you for that. That's cool. I like that viewpoint. Appreciate it. Thank you, man.
I mean, because seriously, we know that if people knew that you were doing this tonight, we know you would have another 2 players. And it seems like it's unfortunate to me that didn't happen. And I was just trying to think of how we could rectify that for next time.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Pam. John, what about you? What thorns did you have?
Yeah, well, and so let's see.
It's hard with him, isn't it?
Well, Rich is pretty bad at this.
It's hard to limit it to just a couple, is what he's saying, Rich.
Yeah. I
Go
think
ahead. Here's the bulleted list.
your GMing, as always, great, but that's not in. We're doing thorns. If I had a thorn, I don't even know if it is. I mean, since it's a new system, the looking for GM, the difference between it, and I don't know if I'm allowed to use the name of the other place.
Talk about whatever you want, man.
Gauntlet, you know how when it says wait list, you know, takes some getting used to, but it's like, are there people waitlisted for this game? I couldn't tell. You know, finally when my wife got on it, then it was a little bit more obvious. But I was like, it just seemed like when I was like looking through the system, like I don't know how new the system is or what, but their numbers led me to believe that, like, are there people in games? Are there not? I was just a little bit more confused with that.
That's good feedback.
This is probably a technical thing. It doesn't seem like their web page, like I left that page open to get messages from you. Like, so when Rich, you know, gets around to the game, you know, I have that page open, but it doesn't look like it automatically refreshes.
Oh,
so I'm like, nothing's here, and it's really close to game time. So I had to actually hit the reload button, and then boom! Hey, look, there's a message from Rich.
Yeah, I mean, you can go look up auto refresh dog scratch. It's not that hard to add in.
But I noticed that with all of those incoming messages from LFGM that I actually had to reload to get them to show up.
Cool. That's good to know. Yeah, it's pretty new. LFGM's site is pretty new, and so that feedback is always helpful for continual improvement. I think my thorn, I think I probably should have went with Roll20. And I think I'm going to migrate everything over to Roll20 for the next session. I feel like being able to advertise on the Roll20 site may help get us a few new players.
Yeah.
And it's a nice site. I do like Roll20. I'm just going to have to convert my stuff over, my brain over, and not think of my Google spreadsheets because they aren't necessarily better. That's what my brain.
You should take.
I really like it.
But well, you haven't been. I just did. You wouldn't have had to write down your moves at all because they're all the entire character sheets there, and you just here's your move, and you push it, and then you at the top it has it has your stats. You just press a button, it'll roll a hard, it'll roll a cool, it'll roll with the stat, and it adds it in.
Okay, well that's pretty obvious. That is better.
I don't know if it has cool graphics, but I just played in a Monster Hearts one, and it also, when you rolled, it had Monster Hearts graphics for the roll.
Nice.
Which was really nice.
Okay.
All of us had been messing around and just like doing the old school like slash roll, and then somebody finally was like, you know, there's a feature where you just press this button and then there's like bring this Monster Hearts graphic comes up with fail and tells exactly what happened. You're like, oh, well, we feel like idiots now for not using that.
Oh, that's good stuff. All right, cool. Thank you for that, John. That's good to know. That makes me feel like More confident. Yes, roll 20 is what I'll convert over to. So let's do roses. Roses are things that you enjoyed about tonight's session, things you'd like to see more of, particular aspects you can highlight each other's play. I know that Pam, you already said John's amazing, and you're right. We'll start with you, John. What roses did you have?
Well, of course, my wife is amazing, but that's why I married her. But on a different note, you're great as always. You can bring the world alive really quickly. I mean, that's part of what makes you so good at it, though. I felt that the people were real, even, what little we've seen. Really nice. I'm interested to find out about Knee-High and what's her story. And of course, you're evil, which normally I don't count as a good thing. But in Apocalypse World, yes, you just made me jump out of the safe vehicle into the cannibals' hideout for a baby that I don't know if it's good or not. So, but it's a baby thrown out there at the end of the night because you're evil.
Pam, what roses did you have?
So just to back up what John just said, I think it's pretty impressive that we spent like the first hour-ish putting together our characters and background. And by, hour 3, we are pretty much fully invested in our characters and the setting, which is pretty cool. I really love the fact that this is not your average Mad Max, dystopian future sort of thing. It's different. And I am looking forward enormously to seeing the dichotomy of the junky crap up on top with the oasis. I just think that's really super cool. So I would have to say that my rose would be the world that you've developed, the setting, and how well you involved us in it to get us invested in it very quickly.
Thank you. I gotta say, my rose is big. John, going with a water bear, I know you were a little hesitant at first, but what you brought to this fiction,
seriously,
yeah, oh man, it's so cool. Water bear is just, it can't exist in a vacuum, and making an oasis is so cool because just like you said, Pam, the idea of having like the 2 layers and levels and you making it like a jungle, I really didn't expect that. That's so funky and alien. I love it. And
yeah, it's great.
It's great. Pam, I like Hound a lot. I really like how we built out Gobstopper. Like that has its own kind of character. I like that vehicle, and bring in the aspects of Nebuchadnezzar and a little bit of like high-tech stuff makes it stand out and keep it from being like a Mad Maxian retro clone kind of whatever. So yeah. I really liked it. I had a great time, and I really appreciate the both of you guys giving this a shot. So with that, this was Looking for GM, or LFGM. Games Now series is the launch of the Apocalypse World miniseries that I'll be running. Thanks, everybody.